All right, folks, let's get into the eight family. Again, these families are all about keeping the organic mafia reactive and in the spotlight. As we learn about them, we get to connect our understanding of hydrocarbon nomenclature and layer everything together, okay? And then learn about some new properties created from these functional groups along the way. The goal is to be able to recognize and name these functional groups from these lectures. This means you're spending time organizing or grouping them for yourself, okay? I chose to group by bond order. That's just how my mind arranged it, which means that I grouped everything by functional groups that have single bonds, functional groups that have double bonds, or functional groups that have both single and double bonds, okay? So that's how I grouped it, and that's how I'm going to organize this lecture. But you can organize these groups in so many ways and do whatever you want. So for example, we have amines and amides here. They both have nitrogen. And so some folks are like, well, I'm going to group things that have nitrogens together. Then you have groups that have these carbonyl groups, which we'll talk about. And some people say, I'll group those together. Either way it goes, you want to make sure that you get creative and take your time to try to group them in any way you want. Again, I'm just showing you my way, but it doesn't have to be the end all be all. Also, we have a variety of R groups. Remember, those R groups are going to be the unreactive parts. And sometimes you will say you will see R or R prime. And that just means that there are two different types of groups. Okay. So this could be another group, R group attached to oxygen. Could be the same thing, but they're just showing that it's multiples of that R group. And just to reiterate, R groups are going to be carbon-carbon and carbon-hydrogen only. So it means they're non-polar and unreactive hydrocarbon portion. And so we don't really need to write them out. So we just only want to focus on the reactive part. Okay, folks? Again, you could have so many different ways that you're going to organize this. And as you know, there's way more groups than what we see on the screen. And even hydrocarbons, like these alkenes and alkynes here, they can be considered functional groups because they can cause reactivity. So when you get into an organic chemistry class, of course, you'll get those details. But for us, you just want to follow along the way and make sure you're focusing on the one in this class. So how do we get started? Well, you know what it is. We ask questions, folks. We always ask questions. Like, what are functional groups? What are they used for? How do we name them? Of course, we want to be able to identify them. We'll see an example of recognition. We also want to know an important reaction. So we talked about very briefly about what reaction types could be. But we want to specifically focus on redox reactions in organic chemistry. And then finally, of course, I want to bring it all together and say, what happens when some of the organic molecules, what happens when they link up? Okay, what kind of reactions will take place? Will there be a bar fight? We'll see. All right, folks.